throw that kickstand down, pop a cold one, and sit back and relax. It's time for the John and Heather Show, featuring John and Heather Toto, Florida's favorite biker couple, documenting the biker lifestyle and bringing you the latest in events and interviews from the biker world. And now, here's John and Heather.
Hey, it's the
John and
Heather Show coming to you and you, live from
our production studio, riding with this fine bunch back here, born to ride. And since it's Tuesday, show them your top.
I'll show you my top. It's Tata Tuesday, everybody. Let's hear it for the Tatos. Tacos.
Oh, tacos. Okay.
That's what you had for dinner tonight.
Actually, you're right.
It was Taco Tuesday for us.
Our lovely daughter dropped me off some tacos, and I was able to go ahead and eat a few chicken tacos, and were really good. I think they're from Norton's.
I believe they were. Shout out to Norton's.
Yeah, shout out to Norton's. That place always has great food. We're going to have a wonderful night tonight.
We've got a big night. We've got Beth from Ryker Rides on tonight. And we've also got Woody from the Buffalo Chip coming on tonight.
The myth, the legend, the legendary founder and owner of the Buffalo Chip at Sturgis, South Dakota, will be on the show a little later on this evening. He had a lot of meetings. He's able to squeeze us in.
Yeah, we're lucky tonight. Yes,
and we're proud to have him on, too. We really are. Because having Woody on the show is just next level. I mean, it's the stuff that man does is next level.
We're going to get started very, very early.
Yeah.
So let's roll. We've got some things to show you and to talk about tonight. We've got some issues going on. We've got
issues.
Yeah, well, not issues. We've got things going on. We've got Webster West Side Flea Market every Saturday and Sunday. First Saturday and Sunday of each month.
From 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Go ahead and go there. It's a swap meet. It's Swap-A-Rama. You can go and get your unique Harley part for your vintage bike.
That's right. And we've got Gibtown Bike Fest coming up, and we will be there.
The 12th at Gibtown, Florida. We will be there. You will see us there. Come get your picture taken. We'll be covering that event.
Yes, we will. And we've also got Thunder by the Bay coming up in February 14th through the 16th.
February 14th.
I was in Gibtown still.
She was still in Gibtown. Now we're going to be going to Sarasota, Thunder by the Bay, and you want to be there. It's 14th, 15th,
with
and 16th.
Lucy.
With Lucy. Yes, Lucy always does as well.
Yes,
14th, 15th, and 16th. She's the manager, the events coordinator. She's just a wonderful person.
It's going to be tons of fun, and we hope to see you guys all there. It's going to be a blast. We've got some other things going on. We've got a word from the CMA. Let's bring them on for you, Christian Motorcycle Association.
Hey, it's Teaching Bats from CMA Crystal River, and we're here with your word of the day. Hit it, Bats.
We're out of 3 John, chapter 1, verse 2. Dear friends, I hope all is well with you and that you are as healthy in your body as you are strong in your spirit.
Did you hear that? There are 2 ways that you can be healthy, both in your body and in your spirit. So as we are healthy in our body, getting right nutrition, exercise, and sleep, we can also strengthen our spirit through the Bible readings, through prayer, through going to church and hearing the preached word, various different ways to do that. And so we're speaking health in your body and in your spirit, because as your soul prospers, so will your body. And we speak health, healing, and wholeness over each and every one of you this season. Would you pray for us, Babs?
Lord, we lift each and every one up that can hear this recording, and we pray for plenty of healthy drinks this season. And we thank you, Lord, that they will eat well and sleep well. In Jesus' name, amen. The little tongue twister.
Remove.
All righty. Well, there you have the word from the CMA.
You always want a little prayer. A little prayer never hurts.
No, it doesn't. That's for sure. We always enjoy having them on. They're a lot of fun. They are good fun. Well, we're going to tell you we've got a lot of great things coming up, but we are just really looking forward to our fun guest this evening,
Beth.
And we're going to start showing a little bit of her video we're going to show you her video right now, which has a video of what has the bagger of a Ryker, big, and I mean big something of the Ryker. And we're going to let you see what this Ryker has.
Right.
But with
you almost had to take the fenders off because they would look silly on
it wouldn't fit. But with the fenders off, all I had to do was throw Dave Marshall's adapters on the front, and it turns perfect. I still have my end links on it.
Yep.
The sway bar.
The sway bar. Yep.
I have the stabilizer on it still. I actually turned the stabilizer up a little bit because the bike was drifting a little bit, so I turned it up to like 8. But yeah.
And those are. And what about the shocks? Did you have to put new shocks on?
No. So the shocks was on 4, and I brought the shocks up to 1. So I think when I took the bike to Atlanta, which was when I debuted the bike in Atlanta,
I remember.
I had too much actually air in the tire, so I had a real bouncy ride.
Okay, yeah.
It was kind of bouncing. So what I did was I took air out the tire, took the PSI down, and I took the springs from a 4 to a 1. And so far, smooth sailing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So I see you've got the weights in the wheels for balancing.
Yeah.
Did you do that yourself, or
No,
did
no.
you have that
No, the person who
professionally?
balanced the tires, they put the weights on.
That's cool.
But it's funny because the person who balanced the tires, he didn't even know what kind of bike was going on. He just did them thinking maybe it's a
funny.
car.
So, I mean, it is so big in here. So how many inches? Do you know how many inches it is across
It's actually
here?
like 9 inches.
It is just massive.
Yeah, it's 9 inches.
It looks silly, but it looks like it'd be really fun to clean.
Yeah.
Is it always dirty in there?
Yeah, because of the color.
Yeah.
Because of the color, it gets dirty real quick. Here down the block, and because of the deepness in it, that's why I had to put that big of a spacer on the back as well.
Right.
Yeah.
It is so beautiful. And so you switched to, obviously you got rid of the single nut that was on the Ryker.
Well, it's still on there.
Oh, it's on there on the inside.
It's on Dave Marshall's kit. The nut's on there, and then the adapter goes on top of that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So if you look actually in the middle, you'll see it all the way down there.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
Yeah. And he actually sells some stronger nuts that I'm going to order, but he said that he don't have them at the moment.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. All right, so the big question is, how does it actually ride when you're on the road?
Like I said before, when I had too much air in the tire, weird. But now that I took the PSI down, adjusted the shocks in the front, I don't really feel nothing. It's just mentally, I know it's a little bit higher, so it could be a little bit more dangerous.
Right.
But the days that I'm not thinking, you'll forget I have rims on the bike.
Really?
Yeah.
What about, I would say, like, so I test rode Dave Marshall's bike.
Correct.
And his bike was very long, right? And that was the fastest Ryker.
Yeah.
And that was awesome at going straight, but really hard to muscle through making turns. Is yours also tough on turns?
No, not tough at turns at all. No.
It rides similar?
Yeah, it rides the same. I have a stabilizer on it just because it's higher, so I don't want the bike to sway as much. So that's why you may have a little bit of a harder turn because of the stabilizer. But if I took the stabilizer all down to maybe like 1, it'll turn the same way.
It is so cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I have to ask, and feel free to say no. I don't want to put you on the spot here.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun. But I would love to take this out for a little test ride.
Sure.
Just down the street and back to kind of get a feel. Are you
It'll
okay
be
with
my
that?
pleasure. My pleasure.
All right, I'm gonna go suit up and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm so excited. Thank you, Ace. Thank you for trusting me to actually ride your bike.
My pleasure. The legend, Beth herself.
I love test riding someone else's bike when it's so unique, but I do understand, like, this isn't like a regular Ryker where is like if I ran it into something, you just easily replace it. Not easily, but this is like so custom that, I'll be careful. Sounds great. Okay. I like the jockey shifter too. All right, ready?
All
first of all, that was so fun. I was like so surprised by the turning of it. I thought it was gonna be really hard to take turns. It's actually easier. I kind of felt like, almost was like on a skating rink. It felt really super easy to turn. I don't know why that is. I was surprised. Even making the U-turns, it felt like it was, you know, you have to muscle through it because there's no, you know, automatic steering. So you still have to muscle through like you would a normal Ryker. But you're right, it really doesn't feel that different. It feels like it's got a little more power to it. In terms of like taking off, like it's like it goes. Like I'm surprised by how easy it handles with these big wheels on it. I'm actually shocked. Compared to Dave Marshall, who had a long swing arm, it was totally different. That was a straight line bike, but this is totally awesome, man. Great job. Thank you so much for sharing this beautiful Can-Am Ryker with us and all the custom work. I just love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Thank you, Ace.
My pleasure.
And that's it. Everybody ride safe, have fun, customize your ride, make it your own. That's what it's all about.
Ryker rides.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Peace, Beth.
Well, there you have it. That's Beth from Ryker Rides.
And she's on a cool Ryker.
And she should be chiming on any minute. Let's go ahead. We got a comment. We got Laura Schofield. Hi, Laura. How
Had
you
a
doing,
great
Laura?
show. Oh, Laura, that's one of our best friends out there. Always checking in on our show.
Yeah, and you know what we got today? We got a email from Alpine Star
Okay.
in regards to your vest.
Oh, my vest is done finally.
Yes, they're sending your vest.
Yeah, I'm going to
back.
get my Alpine Star Tech Air 5 vest back, my airbags, which deployed in my crash, so I can go ahead and wear them on my next track day. I got
Which
my
is
suit
so
back.
important to have
Yeah.
safety gear. Really important.
Yes, it is. Having safety gear on your bike is extremely important, especially, you know, if you're like me and you push the limits a little bit.
And
And I did. I pushed the limits a little bit too far. So I know where my limits are now.
yeah, and your safety gear that you have was really important. While we're waiting, we're going to show you a Sturgis buffalo chip video that we're going to be showing while we're waiting for
Beth to come on.
Beth to come on. We'll go ahead and show you a little bit of a Sturgis video. Wrong one. Hold on.
The whole cool thing about Camp Zero is all this property out here. You can do so much with it. Back in the day, all those guys that were riding all those old bikes, they were like sliding them around barrels going 40 miles an hour. And you can do this here. You can't do it in town. You can't do it anywhere else. People like the way they feel when they come here. They feel welcome. It's like a new thing happening, and the way the world's going, people get frustrated by looking at their phone or this and that. They can come to Camp Zero and forget all about that.
There we go. So that was the Camp Zero. Tell them about Camp Zero, baby.
Yeah, Camp Zero. Okay, that place is so interesting. What it is that it's 10 acres outside the Buffalo Chip on Alkali Road, which is the next road over from the Buffalo Chip. And these guys just have the most interesting things going on. What it is that all the mini bike mayhem that they have the custom bikes that are out there that, just go for like dirt track racing and stuff. The mini bike donuts, the burnouts, they have weenie bites that were there. And what they do is this is more of a place just to go and have fun, and having fun at Camp Zero is just part of what it was. Like when we went, they had mini bikes zipping through the, like a barn that they had there, and they had to have water bottles on their head.
It was hysterical.
And the water bottles on their head, they had to, whoever could zip around the track as much as they could without dropping too much water out of the water bottles were the ones that would win. And they had women doing it. They had all kinds of people doing it, and it was just crazy fun. They have a bull riding machine shaped like a large marital aid, if you want to say it that way. Huge, and the girls will straddle this, and it kicks and it jumps just like a monkey.
Oh God, it was hysterical.
Yep.
It was funny. And what we had Chantel.
And that was Chantel that was on the other video before. We were there. Actually, I'm surprised you didn't even see us in there. I was on the other side of Chantel filming, and I got the exact same crash. Matter of fact, we got to produce that. I got the exact same crash of her falling off. What it was riding the line. Did you send that up to her?
Yeah.
Okay. It's called Riding the Line. Beth, if you're out there, go click the new link. All right. So that's called Riding the Line. What they do is it's 2x4s that they lay all the way out. And what you got to do is you got to get on your motorcycle and you got to ride down the 2x4s. And then what happens is that if you fall off or whatnot, then you fall off. Then also they had the barrel pulls. I wouldn't say barrel pulls, but the barrel. How can you put it? What they did is they put a keg or a barrel in front of your motorcycle, and you got to hit it with the front tire. And the first person that can get it over the finish line wins. These are just biker games, and they're so much fun to be able to go and do, spectate, or even just participate in. I mean, it's just awesome to do that.
It is. It's very neat. I had a good time when we were there.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it, and I had a lot of fun at Camp Zero. I really did. There's nothing like Camp Zero to me. What else did we do at Camp Zero, John?
Well, when we were at Camp Zero, they had that guy with that big wheeled motorcycle. That's one of them famous bikes that they have. Oh, we got Marcus, the host, just popped on.
Hey, Marcus.
They got one of them big wheel motorcycles on there. The tires on the sucker were like truck tires with knobbies all over them. And he actually fabricated this motorcycle. It was like 10 feet long.
Was so cool.
10, 12 feet long with the huge motorcycles, and the chain had to wrap all the way up and around and all the way back to the rear tire. And this guy rode that sucker all over the place. Had like a CB750 engine on that thing, like a newer one. And this bike was just all over the place. He had a ton of cool builds.
I forgot what they called it. I forgot what they called that.
That was just a cool bike. So anyway, you want to play another video for a little bit?
Yeah.
Let's play another one of Beth's videos while we have her coming on.
Okay. We'll play
that one, the fastest Ryker.
Yeah.
That cute accent. I love it.
I don't know if an accent we're talking about.
No accent at all. No accent at all. He's from Quebec, Canada. And he came all the way to Houston to show me his bike.
That's right. Just for her.
That's the only reason why I said it. No. So we're here in Houston. I got a chance to meet him. I've been following you, and he does such great stuff. What is your YouTube channel?
It's actually Ad Hoc Performance, but I'm not taking care of it right now.
Okay.
I'm more on Instagram. Dave Marshall _AHP.
Dave Marshall _
AHP.
AHP. I'll write that on the screen so people can follow you. Okay. So he did what I think we all dream of doing. He tore up the Ryker. Basically, I'm not sure what's left on there. I think the foot pegs are original. And
the front frame, that's it.
The front frame is original. Yeah. And the pegs.
Yes. I do like the pegs. They fit well under.
Yeah, I know. And the brake pedal's the same. Everything else is like pretty much as crazy modified. And is it safe to say this is the world's fastest Ryker?
It is.
That is
by
sick.
far.
So you've taken it on the track and you've tested it.
I've taken my smaller versions of this. I do have a bunch of turbo bikes. The turbo bikes that put out 240 horsepower.
Yeah.
Those ran 11.10 on the quarter mile. This one has 320. So this one will run much faster. I have not had a chance to take it out yet though, because it's winter.
So
in
how
Quebec.
fast? Yeah, how fast is it? Do you think it's gonna go?
By my calculations, because I had to engineer the gears to go into the gearbox,
Yeah.
the biggest gear that I could have cut should hit 160, 165 miles per hour. And all
160,
on the smaller
165.
versions, they hit 150.
Okay, so you've had this exact bike with the smaller modifications.
Exactly.
And it had 150.
Yep.
Okay, so it officially has been tested and tracked at 150. That is sick. That is so sick. All right, we're gonna take you over to this beast, and he's gonna walk us through and show us all the modifications he's done step by step. This is gonna be, I asked him to be as detailed as possible with this, because I think the people who are interested in it.
Beth has just come on, and we're going to go ahead and bring her on now. So let me see. She's in the green room. There she is. Let me see if she's ready. Beth, give us a thumbs up if you're ready. Okay, she is. Let's bring her on.
Hey, Beth, how you doing?
Hi, good, John. How are you? Hi, Heather.
Hi, Beth. How you doing? So sorry about that mishap.
Yeah.
We're glad to have you.
I know. I'm so happy to be here. Sorry for the whatever confusion happened. I'm like in the waiting room going, I thought, like, I know you guys are real punctual. So I'm like, what's going on?
No, it's just every now and then you get a little computer glitches on a live show. That's the whole entertainment value.
That's what
of being
makes it
on a
fun,
live show.
fun.
I've had many live shows where the microphone wasn't working and I'm talking and I had to disconnect. I've been there many times, so I feel you.
So, Beth, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you're from, what you like to do, and how you got into this.
What makes Ryker rides? Ryker rides.
I grew up in actually a small town in New England, in Rhode Island. So I have a very like small. It was just great living in a small town. It wasn't a big city. Everybody knew everybody. It was a really nice way to grow up. And then I went off to school in Connecticut and New York, and then I lived in Georgia for many years, and then I ended up in Florida. And I've been in Florida now for 20 years. And I've always, like, that was a big jump of my whole life, but that other stuff is boring. The good stuff is the motorcycle stuff.
It is.
So
I love those cycles.
Yeah, I've always been, my Uncle Frank had a scooter when I was growing up. And for some reason I had never been on one, but he let me ride it. And I loved it. And I kind of fell in love with that feeling of being on, you know, in the wind and out there.
Wind therapy.
Yeah, wind therapy. I just loved it. It wasn't even wind therapy at that age because, you know, I was just a kid, but it was more just fun. It was exhilarating. It was fun. And then I kind of, you know, whenever I go anywhere, if there's an opportunity to rent a scooter, I was always like, all right, let's get on. Let's rent a scooter. Let's do it. And I really didn't do anything with it. And then I decided, you know, I want to learn how to ride. And this was probably over 20 years ago. I went and got a 2-wheel motorcycle endorsement, and then, you know, I was newly married and we had a kid, and I put everything aside until my son hit those teenage years where I'm like, all right, you know, because motorcycle riding, 2 wheels, 3 wheels, it's inherently a dangerous sport.
Yeah.
And I felt like, all right, I'm a new mom. I shouldn't be doing this. And like, and it didn't bother me, but I just kind of put it on the back burner. And then once he got in those high school years, I'm like, you know what? He's, you know, he does, not that anything should happen to me, but if something did, I feel like he's established in his life and he's kind of knows what's going on a little bit.
Yeah.
He's not a mama's boy. He's not a mama's boy anymore. He's kind of grown out at that stage. So, and then I went and I went to a dealership near me I was looking at a 2-wheeler, and I went there to buy a 2-wheeler, and I actually saw the Ryker in the corner, but I was always intimidated by the whole shifting thing. Because keep in mind, I had my license, but I never really had any experience on shifting and any of that in terms of a 2-wheel experience. So I went into the dealership looking to buy it. And in the corner, this is when the Ryker first came out. So this is back in October 2019. And, you know, I always enjoyed the spiders, but I felt like it was just too much for me. It was too, like, especially there was no, I think at the time, it was like just really the RTs. And they were just so huge. And I just felt like it was too much bike for me, too much machine for me. And then in the corner was like this little Ryker just sitting there with, and it didn't have the max mount. It had that floating seat. It was just so cool looking. And I sat on that and I just melted. I'm like, and my feet planted on the ground. I felt like it, literally, like I have goosebumps. I felt like it just called my name. And I was one with this bike. And I was like, all right, that's it. This is what I want. And so I got the Ryker 900. I actually didn't buy it new. A lot of people think I just bought it new. But I went home, I did my research, and I'm always looking to not spend full retail on anything if I can.
Exactly.
So I went, and this is really before it kicked off, and it was so unusual to see a Ryker. And someone pretty close near me, I guess he got his girlfriend pregnant. He had just bought the Ryker, only had, I think, 500 miles on it. And he got his girlfriend pregnant. His girlfriend's like, get rid of it. We're not doing that. You're done. So, I got it for a steal because, like, he had a hard time selling it. No one really knew what it was and knew what was out there. And I remember him mentioning to me, yeah, I hear people are going to start making aftermarket parts for this. And someone's making an exhaust. And to see where the Rykers come since then to now is like
a long way.
It just exploded.
Customizations.
Yeah, the customization, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I liked it, and I got into the Ryker specifically is even before all the aftermarket people came out with stuff. Can-Am had the different panels. You do this, and you could change the look of it with such ease, and all the different attachments you can put on. I was like, yeah, this is going to be fun. And that's kind of how I fell in love with the Can-Am Ryker. It was just kind of literally love at first sight. It was awesome.
We both started with a Ryker 900.
Yeah, I didn't realize it.
And now I have an F3 Limited, and you have
the same year.
Yeah. Yeah. I still have my Ryker, though. I still have my first one. Yeah, I love it. People always ask me, like, they're so different, right? They're like, there's no comparison between the rides. I love my Spider. Yeah, I love my Spider for that long distance, cross country riding. Mm-hmm. But man, that Ryker zipping around town, it is a lot of fun. It is still after all these years, especially if I'm off of it for a long time, I'm like, and then like I forget and I get on it. I'm like, oh yeah, now I remember why I love it so much. It's awesome.
So how did you start your group?
So it was, it's funny. I knew I wanted to make changes to and to modify it. And I always said to myself, if ever I get a motorcycle, 2 wheels, 3 wheels, I want to work on it. I don't work on cars. I don't work on anything. It's not like that's my passion or my side job or anything. I just felt like if you're going to ride a motorcycle with 2 or 3 wheels, that you should really know what the inside and out of it. You should know if it's something sounds because it's so dangerous if something goes wrong and you could have caught it and been aware, or I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to be in tune and be able to tune my own bike and make changes to it and work on it and change the oil and do stuff with it. So I started getting on YouTube like everybody else. And one of the first things, my very first video was the shift lever, because I could not figure out how to make that. It was such a weird design, like how to make that shift lever work without reaching down and using my hands. And it's a very, very, very common problem people have.
The jockey shifter.
Yeah, the jockey shifter is great. So, and the jockey shifter clearly did not exist at that point. And then Bill Ramsier from BLR Tuning, he was kind of my mentor with the channel, and he did a video on the jockey shifter. And I didn't want to come right out of the gate and like steal someone else's idea. So I actually contacted him. He gave me his phone number. We exchanged numbers. And he's like, yeah, he goes, take the video, do whatever you want with it, make it better, have a great time with it. And I gave him credit. This is where I got the video from. I linked his video. I wanted to give him respect or whatever. I was kind of just, but my video was a little different than his, is because I wanted to show how to do installations from a female's perspective.
Okay.
And if like a lot of guys, specifically, I guess guys, it's like a macho thing. Like they don't want to show that they struggle to do anything. So they'll loosen bolts ahead of time. And then you just twist it and it goes. Or they'll fast forward through it and the bolt is already out. And it's like, I'm going to show my struggles, my failures, my whatever. And I'm just going to be raw about it and be like, listen, this job is horrible. This is, the worst thing I've ever done, but I'm going to show you what I did to maybe make it easier. So like with that shifter thing, the part that comes off, that little rubber thing that comes off, and you had to like pull it. No, not the rubber thing, the actual shifter. You had to take the whole shift lever off. It was really, really hard to take off. And if you watch other people's videos, it's off. And I'm like, okay, let's not tease people. It's virtually impossible to get the thing off.
The hardest part we had was popping all the plastic pieces off the side.
See, that's interesting. That I didn't even think to even do that. I think I just worked on it, and I'm not even sure. I think my husband at the time actually had to do it for me, and I needed to pull in the big guns. But like the point is at all my videos, I'm like, yeah, this screw does not come out, and I stripped it, and here's how you can avoid doing. And I'm not embarrassed to say I failed, and let's work through this together. And
yeah, there's no problem with failure, because that's how you learn.
Actually, the Rykers and those Can-Ams are harder to work on than a Harley.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because
when we go and get your Ryker done or your Can-Am done, it costs a lot more to get your bike done than it does my Harley.
Yeah,
it does. Just because they only tell me the same thing is because we need a specific mechanic that knows how to work on that bike.
Yes. And unfortunately, at dealerships, they'll have maybe one mechanic that's familiar with it. But when you have a Harley, you go to a Harley dealership, every mechanic there is a Harley mechanic. Yeah. And, whereas you go to a general dealership that has lots of bikes and they're not, I don't know in your area of Florida, but I don't have any specific Can-Am dealerships. They're all, there's always like a full-on dealership that has all kinds of different bikes. And then there's one person like, oh yeah, I've worked on a Ryker once. And I'm like,
That's why it's so expensive. We have one here down by us, and that's in Ocala.
Yeah.
They also have KTMs, and they got, they got all the Can-Am four-wheelers and all that stuff. Yep. But because they know that, they're quite pricey.
Yeah, they're very pricey.
They're so pricey. My dealership is, I think my dealership charges, God, a few $100s for an oil change.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's asinine.
$190 an hour.
Asinine, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
I want to probably get her a warranty. I always recommend this to anybody. Is if you buy a new bike, to get the service plan warranty. Yes, it's $3,500, but it'll save you $1,000 in the long run. You don't got to bring any money with you. When the little light goes on, says you need an oil change, you just bring the bike there and they do it. It's all covered under the warranty that we got.
Yeah, Harley has a great plan like that. They actually pick up your bike and bring it to the dealership. Harley really did a good job with that. But I don't even like bringing it in. Like, I don't want to like diss dealerships, but I had a problem. When they had the recall for the fender, something to do with the fender lights or something. They had a recall, and how the fender on the Ryker has those. I think there's 3 or 4.
Yeah, it comes around the back tire.
4 huge bolts to hold the fender on. So I brought it in. I came home, and they know I work on the bike. They know my YouTube channel. I came home, it was missing 2 of those bolts, and I'm like, or I've come home and half my push pins are missing.
Yeah,
like, come on, it's
really.
And that's why I really, really like working on it myself. I know what I'm doing, and somewhat, but I learn as I go. I'm not a mechanic. I can't stress that enough. But I mean, I'd rather, if I'm doing it, I know I'm fully focused on what I'm doing. I'm not distracted. I'm putting everything back exactly when they're working on it. They're busy. The accidents happen. But.
Yeah, but that's a dealership. Sometimes they need to know better. That's why it's really good when you learn how to wrench on your own bike.
Yes.
And you can see things that are wrong, and you can go ahead and fix it yourself. Like me, I'm not a mechanic. I'll be the first one to tell you that. Yep. But I can look at my bike, and just by the way it sounds and the way it feels, I can tell you there's something not right.
Right, exactly.
Because I can't stand rattles. When I hear a rattle, I know there's something wrong. And
he's not kidding.
And my Harley don't rattle. I make sure everything in that bike is torqued down.
Yes. Yeah,
so,
very
it's the same way with me.
Yep.
Now tell us, what do you see for yourself in the future?
It's funny. A lot of people ask me that, and I don't, specifically with Can-Am in the channel, I don't really have, it sounds pretty sad, I don't have long-term goals like, okay, in 2 years from now, my goal is this many subs and this many videos, and I plan on being, whatever. Like, I'm just, it's a really, I'm very passionate hobby about it. And so far, it's kind of worked out well. Like Can-Am this is my 4th, I think, year being an ambassador with them. And Can-Am has been really good to me. They gave me the F3, and it's their bike, but like they gave it to me to kind of use as long as I'm an ambassador. And so it's like it kind of has been, you put good out there and good comes back. I'm a huge believer in karma. So I'm just kind of doing my thing and keeping my head down. And my goal of the channel has always been, it's never been about like, making money. Like, as you know, it's virtually impossible to make money on YouTube. It's just, unless, you're Mr. Beast or something. Clearly not even like, I'm not even in his world.
How do people get in touch with you if they want to get in touch with you?
So that's a good question. So on my website, there's a contact me form. So my website, which is rykerrides.com or spiderrides.com, it takes you to the same website. And so on there, I sell a bunch of aftermarket, parts and accessories and all kinds of cool stuff for both the Ryker and the Spider. I have I think 400 products on there. And on there's the contact me section, which is my email address, beth@rykerrides.com. So people can contact me directly, and I'm really responsive. And also on YouTube, I'm like really good. I would say I have a 90% or higher return. I private, if someone leaves me a comment, I comment back at every single comment. I don't filter it out. I don't ask somebody else to do it for me. And my channel is it's still very small in terms of I'm one-on-one with the subscribers and one-on-one with people. So I have people that will call me up and they'll ask me advice about buying a new bike, and we'll have full-on conversations, or they'll video chat with me and say, hey, can you tell me how to do this or how to get the screw out? And that's why I have the channel, is I really enjoy helping people. And that's really, if I can help you. A lot of times I'm like, I can't diagnose that over the phone. It's and again, I'm not a mechanic. I'm not by no means a mechanic.
Well, we thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Beth. We thank you very much.
Yeah,
thank you for coming on the show. It's been wonderful.
You guys are so passionate about what you do. I really appreciate it. You're great for the motorcycle community. It's just awesome.
It is.
Well,
I know.
Thank you.
It is. And thank you so much. And that guy with those big pink rims, I mean, that was awesome.
I know. He's great. He's a really great guy too.
Well, thank you so much, Beth, for being on the show.
Too.
Absolutely.
We love you so much, Beth. And remember, just keep it shiny side up and rubber side down.
Absolutely. You too as well. Ride safe. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, that was Beth, and she was just a wonderful person. Her passion is the Ryker 3-wheelers and the Spiders and all those 3-wheel
Just
jobbies.
like I ride. Yep.
What is that? 2 wheels, 3 wheels, but
It
not
doesn't
4
matter.
wheels.
Exactly. All right. Well, next we have Woody from the Buffalo Chip coming up.
Yes.
And we are looking forward to that because he is the man, the myth,
and the legend. The owner, the founder, the man that started the Buffalo Chip and the Sturgis Buffalo craze. You really need to have him talk about everything. And he's going to be on there.
He's going to fill us in.
Hey, Woody, you ready down there? Give us a thumbs up if you're ready. All right, let's bring him on. Hey, how you doing, Woody?
Hey, doing great. Thank you.
Thank you. So it's a pleasure having you on our show. We're so happy that you were able to come on.
Well, thank you for the invite. Hope it does you some good.
Yes, it will. Now, Woody, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Oh, a little bit about myself.
Just a little bit.
You already did that. We started the Buffalo Chip, and we've been here. This is going into our 44th consecutive annual year here for events, right? So we do the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. We started in 81. First event was in 82. And, just have just grown just every year since, a little bit at a time, sometimes more than others, right? So anyway, it's been fun. Met a lot of nice people, got a lot of good friends. Can't be beat. It's a great thing.
Now, you work with your family, right, for the Buffalo
I
Chip?
do. My wife is here. My ex-wife is here. My kids work here. So, you get as much cheap labor as you can, right?
Farm it out, buddy. Farm it out.
you just can't do it by yourself. And, they're kind enough to help out.
And did you enjoy working with your family?
Oh yeah, Christ. The reason, is you start doing something, and once it got to the point where this party became a business, then hey, you need to start paying more attention to it. And then if you think about, after a while, maybe I'd want to take a break, and somebody's going to have to carry it on, right? And who better than your family?
Yes, definitely. Well, Damien's going to be doing that, right? Now, Damien, your son. I mean,
Damien, yeah.
After you retire, isn't Damien going to take
I don't
over?
think Woody's ever going to retire.
I don't think so either. But if you ever do,
I filled those papers out earlier today. I'm living forever. That's just the thing, I'm not buying into this mortality thing.
I don't blame you. I'm not either.
I just found it so interesting when I come to the Buffalo Chip. I run into Christy Nome. I mean, the governor comes down just to be able to come to the Buffalo Chip. And, Fox and Friends and Lawrence Jones is filming. How does that make you feel when the governor wants to say, hey, Woody, can I come down to the event?
I've known her for quite a while, and she's just a very nice person, right? Very smart. She rides a little bit, and she's a people person. So, yeah, it's just a privilege and an honor. What's really nice is that so many of the folks that come here just think she walks on water. They love her, right? And so why shouldn't she come? She's got a lot of friends here that she's never met, a lot of new ones to meet.
That's true.
You know what was really interesting about that was that we were there. So it's nice, and people can say, hey, Woody talks about it, but maybe I'll never get to go there, and that's not true. Well, it is true because we were there. We saw it. We filmed it.
Yes.
We saw her in action at your venue.
Yeah.
In action live with Fox and Friends.
She had a great time.
We had Jelly Roll, one of our performers here last year.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, what in the world? Where do you go when the governor picks you up at the airport, right? Yeah, she's just a real person.
And then we all
person. And a really sharp person.
Yeah.
That is true. And I mean, she was just very down to earth. I mean, it's just, like I said, it's just an honor that I turn around and look, and there's the governor sitting there,
having pancake breakfast with
everybody
Sunday morning.
I'm sorry I didn't. You're both talking at the same time. I missed some of the questions.
That's okay.
No, we just couldn't believe it that we had Christy Nome serving pancakes down there at Lawrence Jones. It was just so cool to see her do that.
She loves doing that kind of stuff because she knows people don't expect it, of course, right? And she enjoys it a lot.
That's true. How do you get the talent you get to come into that place? I mean, do these people say, hey, Woody, I really want to perform there? Or do you actually have to go out and actively seeing it? Because the talent that you could get at the Buffalo Chip is just top notch. It's next level. How do you wind up getting that talent?
Well, to start with, it was a real bugger, frankly, because nobody had ever heard of South Dakota. Nothing had ever been done here before like that. And so we had to, just kind of had to find some people that decided they'd like us and give us a shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And pretty quickly, we ended up, like our third or fourth year here, we ended up having Nashville studio musicians renting buses to come down here and perform for free. And I didn't have a clue how significant that was, but somebody was out there talking about what a cool party this was. And out of their own pockets, they rented a couple buses, filled them up with musicians, and come out and just partied with the rest of us, but providing some entertainment along the way. So that was very, very cool. That was probably in the mid 80s when that happened. And so it worked from there. But usually we have to go looking pretty hard to find somebody who has the ability to get their entire organization out in the middle of South Dakota to perform for a bunch of bikers, right? But at the same time, it caught on over a period of time because the musicians loved the audience, and they would tell other musicians that, my God, that's the coolest place, right? The people are just marvelous. And I couldn't believe it, but it kept happening. And the artists would tell us, well, yeah, so-and-so said this about this place, and we paid attention to it. And then when we got into the bigger leagues, it was like, okay, we had some of the agencies and the major agents coming out to check the place out. And then they would actually send out young up-and-coming artists that they thought were going to be and knew they were going to be hot. And so they'd have them come out to start building an audience and basically kind of practicing on us, right?
Okay.
Which was pretty cool. And then in 2004, the first time that we had Kid Rock out here, he went and told all his buddies.
He's got a lot of fun.
Kennison probably did that too, but he passed away shortly after he was here. So his agent kind of carried on the job there, telling other agents about us. So it's word of mouth stuff that gets there, which is the same way that most of our campers come, all of our people come, is they heard about it from some friends. And it just grows that way.
And you decided that you wanted to open up your doors and build a venue big enough to hold 40,000 people, 40,000 plus, because it was like 40,000 we saw.
Yeah, it was a sea of people
watching Kid Rock.
Well, you make it sound like it happened right now. It didn't happen right now. It happened. Okay, we started off with a couple of people, and then we got to a couple of hundred people, and then, we got to 300 people, and pretty soon we got 1,000 people. And one day somebody showed up in an RV, and we thought, oh my God, the world is coming to, what is going on here, right? And it just kept growing. And then we decided, frankly, that if we decide to make it friendly for people with RVs to come in, that we'd have more women at the party, right?
Uh-huh.
And that made a nice difference. So that was sweet.
Now, when we were there at the end of Kid Rock, Trump actually came on with a pre-recorded message for everybody at the Buffalo Chip. You ever think one of these days you may have, the president stop by?
Well, we had during the Republican campaign in 2008, John McCain and his wife and daughter came out and made an appearance that was broadcast all over the planet.
Wow.
We had talked with Donald Trump when he first announced, and back in 2015 about coming out, and had talked with his folks about coming out. So he knew about us because he was familiar with what John McCain had done, and the reaction that McCain got from being here was just marvelous. And so Donald knows about us for sure. And and really, we love him, right?
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, that was nice. Kid Rock has got backbone that not many people have, in addition to having the skills and the intellect that he has, the business acumen. He's one sharp Jose. And
that's for sure.
Really, and he told me one time, he said he talks to former President Mr. Trump, right? At least twice a week personally, and they has for, I believe, years. So they're pretty close.
Yeah, that was so cool that right at the end of his song, Trump came on and put that message. It was still during this campaign.
Yeah.
It was just awesome.
Gave us chills.
It did. It gave us chills. Everybody and their brother recorded that, and I really don't blame them. I got a question for you. What do you see in the future? I mean, you've done just about everything that could be there, but what do you see in the future for the Buffalo Chip? Well, how would you expand it? What would you do?
That depends on the people that are coming, because what our job is to make sure everybody that comes gets a good time, right? And different people have a little bit of different thing, but the basic thing that I think of, and I say this and have for a long time, is that we have a crowd mostly 40 to 55-year-old people that they had a motorcycle and they goofed off a little bit more back when they were in high school and college. And then they got married, then they got kids, then they got rid of the motorcycle, and then they got the job and all that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden now their kids are old enough to be alone or don't want to be home anyway, or they're out on their own. And mom and dad have a chance to go out and try to live that life that they dreamed about when they were in high school, right?
That's right.
And that's our deal. Is you come here, it's just a sense of freedom here. There's a magic here. People just feel free. And what it amounts to is, God, they make friends, right? You come in, you got a campground, you got people you don't know on both sides of you. Hi, how are you? And the next thing you know, 5 years later, they're still friends. And, and they're coming back together just to see each other once a year. And so that's what makes it work, really, is the friendship, the quality, the caliber of the people. We got the nicest people in the world out here, and that's no baloney.
And
that's true.
And I'll tell you right now, your security there is next level. It was so nice to go somewhere, because down here in Florida, the venues are different. They're crawling with cops, and everybody gets a little bit leery. The way you have your security, they're so incognito, it makes everybody feel comfortable too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the whole thing is you want that sense of freedom, right? We had a guy who was over from the West Bank, and he said, he'd been other places. There were just so many police, you don't feel anything except in prison practically, right? And I says, I can't believe it here. You just the sense of freedom is just never felt like that, right?
Yes.
So yeah, it's very, very cool, very privileged to have that ability to just have a bunch of people that are just going to behave and have a good time, and it works.
It sure does.
Now, one of my favorite parts of your venue is the Field of Honor that you have with the flags. Mm-hmm. What was your inspiration for that?
I hesitate to use the word inspiration because it just means you had some big deal going on. But we had a freedom celebration for some time before we went to Iraq. Mm-hmm. And when we went to Iraq, we started losing troops right away.
Yeah.
And so we just thought, we'll put up a flag for every American troop that had been lost in Iraq.
Okay.
And we'd put up the flag. We'd have their dog tags hanging from the flag. And that was pretty cool. And so then the next year we had to have more flags, right? And more dog tags.
Yeah.
And about the fourth year, we just couldn't handle any more dog tags. We stuck with the flags. And then 4 or 5 years, 6 years down the road, we just quit with those and come up with a military, like a cemetery formation for the flags, made them permanent. And then we have a little flag raising, celebration every year, but it's a freedom field. And we've had 80% replica of the Vietnam Wall behind it. And, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. And I guess where it became sacred, maybe two places. We put up, we made our own flagpoles, put 2 of them up, and we had a young man who was terminal, and his goal was to fly that 50 by 80 foot flag he had in all 50 states. And this was the last one. And we were there, and he said he wasn't planning to live much longer. And would we buy that flag from him and promise to fly it? So that's why we built the flagpoles, 120 feet tall, so we could fly the flag in between. And God, that was beautiful. But then, the Iraq thing come got crazy. And, we had all these other flags, right down on the ground. And one morning, 7 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday, and that's why we have our freedom celebration on Thursday. Thursday morning, 7 a.m., we had 2 U.S. Army lieutenants show up in full dress uniforms looking for a couple who were camping here. And you ask them why. It's because their son was killed last night in Iraq. So we actually found the parents where they were camped, and there was a active duty general and some active duty troops here who had their uniforms and whatever. And we have a missing man memorial out there that wasn't really a memorial then, it was just an exhibit. And so they decided they'd have the missing man ceremony there. And so along about a little before noon that day, they performed the missing man ceremony, the general, the troops in uniform with the firearms, and the parents there. You talk about something to rip your heart out.
Yeah.
That's it, right? So we just stick with it, and we do it every year, and haven't had that kind of an incident happen again, fortunately. But that can't be forgotten.
No, I'm a veteran. That's me. I served during those times. I'm an Iraqi war veteran myself. And I'll tell you right now, it's just,
No wonder we felt such peace.
Oh, yeah, because I served 92 to 95. I was over there in the Persian Gulf also. I was there when Saddam set all the oil wells on fire, So, I definitely, even when I was there, I got chills being in that field. Now I really know why. I mean, that's just incredible that you honored those people by doing that, Woody. I didn't know that about you. That's incredible. It really is, that you did that for them.
Oh, I don't like to think that we did,
You did that for all of us.
You did that for every troop, but you did that also for that family. And right there, that's just a special thing. There is no way around that.
That makes the most beautiful piece of dirt anywhere on the planet when those flags are flying, the breeze is blowing. Nothing like it. You listen to them waving in the wind. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you see people come in, some of the vets walk out, tears rolling down their cheeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were there
because the flags are like Arlington.
Photo shoots.
Oh, yeah, because the flags are like Arlington, the way you have them set up in the rows and stuff. I mean, that's the first thing I thought of is instead of the tombstones, they sort of flags that set up like Arlington. They're all the exact rows and the exact lines. And I just thought that was wonderful. I mean, it was just beautiful. I mean, like right now, what you're saying, I'm damn near in tears right now. That's no joke. Wow. So, Woody, let's do a little happier thing. What do you this year? What's the lineup for this year? What talent do you have, and what's going on?
If you really want to ask me that question and get an answer, you're going to have to check back with me in a few months because right now we're still struggling. Who's working? COVID screwed everything up because only a few people worked through COVID. So, and we didn't have any trouble getting any entertainment during COVID, but afterwards, everybody went to work. So there was a flood of artists everywhere. And after a couple of years of that, everybody, number one, got tired. Number two, had to go back and rest up and maybe get some new material and that sort of stuff. And so there's a drought right now. I mean, there's a bunch of artists touring in Europe, but then you got the big Luke Combs and those guys that are out there touring in stadiums, and they're it's just it's a bugger. So stay tuned. We're busting our butts as best we can to find the right groups for our audience to come and perform, and we'll. So, Five Finger Death Punch right now is the only artist that we have booked.
Well, that artist you booked is a top notch headliner.
That's not only.
That's not only Five Finger Death Punch. I love the way you just said that.
Yeah, I thought that's a birthday party.
Well, I mean, but see, we're supposed to get the best, right?
Yeah.
And so that's our job. And so the best are being bought up by a company called Live Nation, and you might have heard about the lawsuits and stuff there. It's just tough to hire people that you want to have and that the people would really enjoy, because Live Nation has so many of them tied up. So they're busy, you know, and they're making a lot of money because Live Nation pays them exceptionally well.
Well,
And then you can't compete with that.
I mean, it's just crazy. So the future of the Buffalo Chip for you, I mean, if you had like anything that you could do, any amount of money, what would you do? Like that?
If the world was a beautiful place.
Yes, it was a beautiful, perfect place. What was the one thing that you would do to the chip?
You know, I can't tell you that we change too much. We change something every year, right? And so, you know, and it comes down to providing better service, right? So, you know, we could build new bathrooms, right? Everybody likes that, right? You know, we could build some new showers, you know, that kind of thing. I mean, we don't get complaints anymore about that kind of stuff, but it's the amenities. I'd love to have a nice big restaurant and, you know, so on. But the truth of the matter is we started off as a pasture without a single thing here, right? We didn't have water. We didn't have electricity. We didn't have a paved road. It was tough, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, the people came because the city of Sturgis is trying to run people out, and they needed someplace to go where they were welcome to go. So that's why we came into existence, was, hey, let's give these people someplace where they're welcome.
Yeah.
And so it started coming, and then we just grew, like I said, organically.
Yeah.
As the crowd grew, we grew to accommodate them as best we could. It was never top notch, right? Because we didn't have a friggin' dime, but it was freedom. And that sense of freedom, and the other people that appreciated freedom. And frankly, I think we have probably the highest concentration of veterans of any place in the country during the motorcycle rally right here. So we're just proud of that too. But if we'd had a bunch of money and done something like that, we wouldn't have the Buffalo Chip. That's different, right? It's the magic that comes with the dirt. I mean, I'd give you another example, because we're 1.5 miles maybe from Fort Meade VA hospital, right? Which is maybe the best one in the whole friggin' country. And so we've had a couple of guys that come out here 3 weeks before the rally and have for over 35 years, right? I mean, maybe I just didn't notice them the first couple of years, right? But, you know, they lived different places, met each other in the military, come back here and hang out for like a month, right? And so I remember one time, it was probably in the early 90s, I went by and just said hi. He was, when Roger was setting up the camp, and I stopped to say hi. And he looked at me and he pointed at me and he got all excited. And he said, "Hey, you're Woody, aren't you? You're the guy that owns this place, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, you know what they say. You go on vacation, you know, and leave your wife at home. You come home and she's sleeping with your best friend. Well, I brought my best friend with me. Come on out here, me, Woody." So, and I love this place so much. I want my ashes right there. I told my wife, you know, right there. And and this year, he was in hospice at Fort Meade, and his buddy brought him out and took care of him for the whole rally. After the rally, took him back to Fort Meade, and he passed away finally. But I mean, you know, people just love it here. I mean, it's just a magic that's inexplicable, and it's just because of the sense of freedom and the quality, the caliber of people that come here.
Well, Woody, I
We
couldn't have said
definitely
it.
felt it. Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Woody, that was wonderful. Thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for taking some time out of your busy life. I know you had meetings all day today, and we really appreciate you coming on the show, and I hope I get to see you soon.
Yes.
Well,
Thank you
I
so
hope
much.
to as well. Look forward to seeing you. We're going to be having an event, about the first week of August. So,
Okay.
yeah, you ought to come back.
Yes. Yeah, because it's a 3-day ride for me to be able to get up there. So we definitely will do it, and I can't wait to see you coming up this season.
All right. Looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you
Woody.
so much, Woody, for being on the show. We appreciate
Thanks a
it.
bunch.
Thank you, man.
Have a good night, Woody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas
you
to
guys.
you
And a
and your
happy new year.
family.
Well, that was the legendary Woody. Oh my God, everything that man said is just on the money.
It
and
is.
About Freedom Field.
Yeah.
Otterfield,
That's why we
Otterfield.
felt so
Yeah.
special.
The flags that are there are just incredible. I mean, they have them lined up, like I said, like Arlington. When you see it, and he has the monstrous flag, the 2 flagpoles are in the back. So if you're at the chip and you got the big
It's
buffalo over here,
just
all you see
breathtaking.
is the flags, and you see the big, huge flag in the background. It's majestic. It really is, because it almost covers Bear Butte, I think it's the name of the mountain,
Yeah.
in the back, because the flag is so big. It is just awesome to be able to, see things like that. You need to go to the Buffalo Chip. This place is awesome. Like he said, freedom is wonderful. Again, I'm a veteran, so freedom isn't free, and definitely Woody understands that. But really, when you go there, you get to meet like-minded people that love and enjoy the company of other bikers, events, the food, the atmosphere, and just the good time and camaraderie that you have with the next person is something that you need to see, need to go do, and need to experience. And that's why we love the Buffalo Chip.
Yes.
It's the most unique venue. I mean, here in Florida, we have a lot of the venues during Bike Week and everything else, and it's just not the same. Even though Florida is a very free state, South Dakota, the way it is, the way the field is, the way it's set, it's just by
chilling.
itself. It's an
gotta
awesome,
go and see it.
awesome
Just have
place
to
to
see
visit.
it.
You need to go there. The amenities, like Woody was saying, the bathrooms there are clean. The showers are good. If you want to go and you want a rural camp, you could do that.
Camp Easy Ride.
You can make it
You
a
can
Camp
do it.
Easy Rides there. And you can always have a great time. The people that are there that you'll meet are just people that will remember you for the rest of your life. And these are people that just love to be around bikers and the biker community. And that's how the Buffalo Chip is just designed to cater to the bikers and the people that enjoy freedom.
The freedom.
And that's exactly what the Buffalo Chip represents, is pure freedom. It's a place you got to go, a place you got to experience. See it, feel it, touch it. You got to go there.
Eat it.
You got to go there. And I'll tell you right now, that is one of the best places to go to.
Yes, it is. And I had a great time.
We had a
we're
great
going to
time.
try to go again this year and bring you back some more content.
Well, this is the John Heather Show, keeping it shiny side up
And rubber side down.
Deuces. We love you all.
Yes, we do.